Good morning, Singapore. Good morning, everywhere around the world. And for those of us tuning on LinkedIn, good morning. This is Adrian and Yen. And like every Friday morning, we have our LinkedIn Live show. And it's so exciting to have every Friday morning having to talk to all of you guys. But what's cool is that it's Chinese New Year celebrations. How was your New Year celebrations, Yen?
Good morning, Adrian. How was it? It was great. I really enjoyed it. It was quite restful. We ate a lot and just enjoyed communing with family and friends. That was wonderful, actually. And happy
Oh,
Lunar New Year to everyone.
oh yes,
And
happy
happy
Lunar New
Friday.
Year.
Happy Friday too. And happy coffee.
Apparently, Yen, what I've heard is that you're not supposed to be saying a happy Chinese New Year.
I just
It's
said happy Lunar
politically,
New Year.
yeah, I know, correct, which means you got it right
Oh,
because apparently,
oh, thank you.
apparently, when you say Happy Chinese New Year, okay, or it's the people who are in Vietnam or they're not they say, hey, no, it's not Chinese New Year, it's the Lunar New Year, and then you got people all around the world who are celebrating the Lunar New Year, so they get a bit upset. But anyway, that's why that's correct. It's a happy Lunar New Year, and it's the year of the rabbit, which apparently in Vietnam is the year of the cat.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow. I didn't know
apparently it's
that.
the year of the cat. I didn't know
Let me
that
go look it
also.
up.
But anyway, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Once again, my name is Adrian, and I'm the CEO founder of Career Agility International. And together with me every morning, every Friday morning, in fact, every morning as well, but every Friday morning is Yen, our super coach. And to this week, it's
Hi,
quite an
morning,
interesting.
everyone.
It's quite an interesting topic we're going to talk about today because it's something that's being spoken around a lot, especially in today's market, and you can't avoid it because
Yes.
wherever you turn around in the news, you see it everywhere, and all talking about it, isn't it?
Yes,
And
and it started with Twitter. It started
oh
with
yes,
Twitter, and it went on to a host of other. It's like a domino effect, and everyone started announcing cost cutting, belt tightening, no backfills, and then the job cuts. It's quite scary,
yeah, the
quite
job cuts
scary,
are scary because of the size and the scale and the scope of the cuts. If you look at the headline.
huge.
It's crazy. It's Amazon affecting 18,000 people. You got IBM, SAP, all the big names. Microsoft, and
Yeah,
ironically, Microsoft laid off 10,000 workers, but it announced $52 billion revenue in the second quarter. I don't, I don't know. It's
gosh, you wonder. But a lot of these
yeah.
tech firms are also saying that even though they have plans to downsize certain segments, they are still hiring. They have very
Mm,
clearly stated that they're still hiring and they're still going into the spots that are still going to be growing and are quite hot. They remain hot,
mm.
these areas.
You mean hot,
So, I mean, I think cyber folks, I think should be all right. Cloud folks should be all
especially in
right.
especially in AI. No, actually, the cloud folks nowadays, no, because the big challenge I'm being told by some of our clients in the tech space is that they kind of overhired during the COVID days when the demand for uh, online services and
Online,
everything
yeah.
was really skyrocketing because of the lockdowns, you see. But now they're seeing that that kind of growth, the 20-25% growth, is no longer sustainable. So they can cut
Mm,
headcounts. But what was really interesting was an article I read last night, which says that one of the reasons why tech companies are cutting down on headcount is because investors now are looking at a new metric. And one of the new metrics they're looking at for performance of companies is revenue per employee.
mm. So
And they're
for
gonna
every for every headcount, there is an
yeah,
expectation of a certain level of return. And that's what
yeah,
we've been talking about all this time, right? It's about
yeah,
value you bring to the organization. Yeah.
correct. So then that's interesting because what this article was talking about is that, like in Microsoft, one of the indicators was about $500,000 per revenue per employee. So the way
That's a
to bump
lot.
it up is just to cut the people. But Microsoft is making so much money anyway. So I know I was just talking to you yesterday about our Office 365 subscriptions. So anyway,
Yes.
but they make so much money, and so the whole idea for them is well, now they're being measured. A lot of tech companies are being measured by revenue per employee. So that's why the only way to bump it up is to let people go. And it's what I call what I've personally called for a very long time, pruning the tree. Because even if they're letting people go, they're
Mhm.
bringing in on board more people who are better qualified, with the right relevant skill set. So that's why it's not about all gloom and doom, because there will be hiring as well, but it's a pretty free, make it shape. Yeah, it was Topiaries, right? Yeah.
I'm mostly curious about the type of folks that are being cut. Are they back office? Are they operational? Are they sales? No, they're not. Are they from certain functions that are perhaps a little bit more, I guess, redundant or repetitive?
Mhm.
So then, if those roles can be taken over by some automation, then yeah, those are the individuals who are going to be a little bit more vulnerable than others. So
True.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, regardless of trend, and I'm projecting here because we've been around a while and we've seen trends come and go. Certain industries will face some kind of
Yeah.
movement, and then suddenly there's a spate of activity, or some other division, sorry, not division, but some other industry segment is going to suddenly grow, and
Mhm.
then there's a huge spate of hiring. So trends come and go, but our
Yeah.
message of the day really is about that the uncertainty, and that, if you cannot predict what's going to happen in the next 6 months to 1 year,
Mhm.
then yeah, it's a risk, right? Your career is at risk, and
Yeah.
no job is secure. That's the
Yeah.
message, isn't it?
It is. It is. And also, if your job is not secure, then what are you going to do about it, right? That's why what we talk
Right.
about is and if you look at the Amazon, this little article over here, which says the latest
Yeah,
layoffs will fall on the retail division and human resources.
that's right.
Ouch. Yeah. So the tech guys, I don't know whether they're safe or
Ouch.
not, but there was a CEO I once spoke to a very long time back, and he said never put a good recession to waste.
Yes,
And
I
whenever
remember
there's
that.
any news of a recession, when your peers are letting people go, hey, it's a great excuse to let people go as well, just to trim your fence, you see. So,
Right. And there are organizations we know that do it as a regular exercise. They do
yeah,
spring cleaning.
spring cleaning,
I
yes,
mean,
yes,
it's an awful thing to do, because you think, hey, but where is your compassion for the
mm,
employee? But the business is there to perform a function as well, and they have to survive. And in order for them to
yeah.
survive, they have to throw out the dead wood. Or, I mean, yeah, well, we
To
all
senior
know.
management, yeah, to senior management, they don't see you as an individual. Sometimes they see you as a cog in a machine, as a digit, as
Yeah, as a
Deadwood, like what you
gear.
say, which
Yeah,
is unfortunate, you see. But it
yeah.
does happen. And so the big question is, what then can you do about it? Which comes to the topic of today, which is about, are you career agile? Are you career fragile? If you're career fragile, when there is any shake or any movement, it goes and it breaks up. And is your career that fragile? And we have seen people who have very fragile careers, and we've helped them.
Mm.
But the best thing to do is how not to be fragile in the first place, right?
The best thing to do is to fix your roof before it rains. It's been
Yeah.
raining every
It's
day.
been raining every day in Singapore right now. It's such
I am happy to
except
report
today.
there are no leaks in my roof for now.
Today, today
But
it's
that's
today
that.
it's not raining today,
Yeah,
so it's good. It's good.
I'm
Uh,
just hoping it stays that way. It's not. Again, it's the metaphor that we've been talking about for a long time now, and also
yeah.
the reason for the company name. I mean, that's our purpose, is to help individuals stay agile, because I mean, beyond seeking, I guess, the fortune teller's advice, the feng shui master's advice, or going to one of these numerology gurus who will tell you to avoid a certain color, or to wear, or to go buy
Uh,
Toto and all that, right? I mean, that's not within your control,
that's not in your
seriously.
control.
So let's focus
So,
on how you can, what you
yeah,
can do to build your own career agility.
yeah, correct. And that's why that's why the company's name when we first founded it was career agility, because you need to be agile in your career. But then, what is being career agile all about?
The official definition is the ability to
Our
anticipate
our our
opportunities and
official
threats. Yeah,
yes,
right. The
our
official, right?
official
Our
definition.
official
Sorry,
is
okay, our
it's
official, because
it's,
we
it's the
coined it.
ability. It's the ability to identify opportunities and threats, to respond accordingly, and then to hopefully, well, ideally, um,
Ideally.
what's the purpose, right? To fulfill
Yeah.
your career objective, which is to
Yeah.
ensure it's sustainable until
Yeah.
you decide to retire. Again, not everyone wants to accelerate. Not everyone
Yeah.
wants to make $1 million, but we
It's
all
perfectly fine.
do need some income.
Yep.
We all do need an income, and we want to avoid the nasty things that can happen. And
Yeah.
yeah, losing your job is one of the biggest stresses out there. We don't want that. So if you can
Yeah.
head it off at the pass, if you can see it coming and you can manage it, then I think some of the happiest people I've helped, I don't know about you, are the ones who can see the retrenchment happening, have a
Mm.
job lined up, sit in place until the payout, and then happily trounce over next door to the next job
And
within a month,
exactly,
with a little break in
exactly.
between, because a holiday is not a holiday until you know you have a job lined up for
Yes,
you
that's
when you
true.
come back.
And
And
which
then you
which
don't have
brings
a
to
job to
mind.
go back to. So it's the
uh,
happiest people,
It's a happy.
happiest.
That's a win-win. That's the ideal situation, which actually happened to one of our clients last year. He, if you remember, he basically got he caught wind that there was going to be a retrenchment exercise in about 6 or 7 months time. And what this person did was he came to us on his own accord, okay, on his own budget, and he came and engaged us. And we planned the exit so nicely and everything for him that he got a payout. 1 month break. He joined the company and got a sign-on bonus as well. So it can be engineered if you are career agile. And if you don't know how to do it, come talk to us. Once again, you can just drop us an email, info@careeragility.org. If you are feeling nervous about your role, okay, or if you're just
Yeah.
wondering what's next, just come talk to us. We're always happy to share ideas with you and see what your various options are.
But
So,
just saying, I want to put a caveat on that, right? I mean,
yeah.
that's such a happy thing to happen, a very positive outcome, and I just want to caveat on that. We cannot promise everyone exactly
Oh,
that,
yeah,
because
it's different. Yeah.
yeah, it's sometimes, I had clients who were forced to stay until the end of a specific term.
Mm,
Otherwise, they don't get the payout. But then they have a job lined up already. And then if they do resign before the payout date, because these are situations where an organization perhaps is offshoring an entire plant, for
yeah,
instance.
yeah, yeah.
So everyone has
And
to
they,
stay
they
until the very
need
last
you
day.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But however,
Yeah.
having said
So,
that,
so
there are
yeah, things
situations.
happen.
Having said that, there are situations where things can be negotiated as well, and that's where the finesse and the
Yes.
experience of ours come in because we are so used to that. It's our bread and butter for the past 5 years in career agility. So, but why is there a need to be career agile? Because basically there are a lot of dark clouds ahead, and if you haven't noticed already, there are dark clouds ahead. It's just in the news,
Literally.
you get praise literally as well. It's been raining over here. And the thing is that it's changing. Even if you're no dark clouds in your industry, it's a fast changing world, isn't it? Technology, consumer behaviors.
Yeah. I don't again, I'm surprised that people are not seeing it, considering how much cash has been pumped into the economy, the global economy, in the last 2 years. Everyone's
Hmm.
printing money, so the inflation pressure is definitely going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised people are still thinking, oh gosh, we want the rosy days of when we were flush with cash. No, it's not going to
No.
happen, right? I mean, you have to pay for it at some point down the road. So
Yeah.
the fastest changing thing that everyone's talking about, obviously, is the Chat GPT, the artificial intelligence, the natural
Hmm.
language that is now taking over the customer services. And yeah, I mean, to your point, Adrian, like literally, stagnation is not an option. If you are happy where you are, don't just rest on your laurels. It's not safe.
It's not
Always
safe.
try and anticipate what's next.
And I tell you what's interesting. What's interesting is I was interviewed yesterday by a journalist, and she was asking me how does ChatGPT affect the job hunt and job search and everything. And I said that one of the biggest ways that ChatGPT helps is actually going to be in terms of the resume writing. Okay, for those who are not fluent in English,
Good luck.
yeah, I know. If you're not fluent in English and you don't want and if you don't want to hire one of those resume writer types, so if you ask me, ChatGPT is going to wipe out the generic resume writing industry because it's like, shucks. But whether or not you land a job is another different story. But if you're not good in the language, ChatGPT is amazing in structuring something for you. But then again, if
I
you
think
have a
ChatGPT.
nice
Sorry, I think ChatGPT is really good for writing limericks about job search. Remember?
Oh yes, you should try it. It's so
That
fun.
was funny. So our listeners out
Yeah,
there, give ChatGPT an instruction on how to write a limerick about a specific topic. It's so funny and so much
yeah, on the
fun.
spot. It's almost like watching a real time episode of Whose Line Is It Anyway? But
Yes,
no, but what should you look out for? Okay, when you talk about dark clouds and everything, one of the things we want to look out for are threats. Threats on the horizon and threats of retrenchments. And
yep,
retrenchments are very common. A lot of the Gen Xers, okay, like us, we've gone through several, we've know people who've gone through. It's kind of par for the course, isn't it?
it is.
It's
And
it's so
and
common now.
seriously, if your direct competitors are retrenching, what makes you so sure your organization's not going to, right? So
Mm,
how to look out for the thunderclouds in the horizon is to see what others are doing within your industry. So if
yeah.
you get a sense, it's not difficult to put a feeler out
Mm,
and to in fact even see if, so Twitter started the ball rolling, and then
yeah.
one by one all the tech giants are announcing. So if you belong in the tech sector,
Yeah.
don't rest on your laurels.
No, it's your laurels. In fact, like what I said in one of my previous messages, there was a finance director who was shedding his team in the
Yeah.
region, and from a team of size of 18 down to three. And one Monday morning, he was called in and he was given the pink slip, and he had a look of surprise on his face. He said, "Huh, really? Me? Why are you retrenching me? Because your whole division is gone." So some people, they're just a bit too complacent, or maybe they just feel that, oh,
Or
they're
in
gonna company can
denial.
take care of me, or in denial. Denial is another thing. So the retrenchments are real. There's a possibility. No one's job is guaranteed. Okay, so I don't want to be
Yeah.
a prophet of doom in on during this Chinese New Year season, but it's something that you really need to be mindful of, because the technology that's coming up, like what you were mentioning, yeah, Chat GPT, it's a baby right now. It's a real cute and fun to play with
It's
baby,
a
but
big baby.
yeah, but the moment it matures, and it's fitted in as an API engine to the other stuff like what we are doing with Carol, our online career coaching assessment tool. But once we plug in the APIs into there, as we are planning to do it, it's going to change the game. So right now, even though it's good for writing limericks and jokes, uh, I'm
In school
sitting back and
assignments.
watching school assignments. I'm just watching what's gonna happen with this, and that's why I always say
Yeah.
it's the start of something really big. And at this time, it's not hype because we've tried it, we've played with it, and it's like, whoa.
But it's not just the AI, right? We've been talking about this since day one, with how jobs are being re rearranged, restructured.
Mm,
Because if there's a way to streamline something, then I don't need a headcount. And I remember when in the banking sector, and all the middle office functions were being
yeah,
well, made redundant because they didn't need it. They had RPA, and they had other tools
yeah,
to streamline those functions, right? To
yeah. That's
approve
right.
loans, for instance. So, yeah, I mean, it's the word that you coined, Adrian, disintermediation. So if there is, it's a good word, and remember the example you gave. If you see any construction out there on the roads, and there's a robotic arm going with a flag, that's one
Mm,
job there for one head count. The robots are taking over those functions, and
yeah, imagine.
eventually, yeah, they're going to have driverless vehicles,
Yep.
which, by the way, I found out that they were testing in my area.
Oh
So
wow.
my area's got a driverless bus
You
to
can
take
Yeah, you can actually you
people.
can actually help with their testing. You can add data points for them by suddenly jumping in front of one, okay, and
No,
seeing whether it
thank you
responds on
very
time.
much.
And if it responds in time,
Just
then
so
it's at
you
least one data
know,
point that it works. So, okay. So,
just so you know, they were testing that vehicle. There was a huge sign at the back of the autonomous vehicle. It's a large black bus, and I was driving behind it. So I was trailing
oh.
it, and the big sign says, "Beware sudden braking." And to give space, don't follow too closely. And I'm like, okay, that's clever because I cannot imagine. But anyway, so that leads to our third point about obsolescence, isn't it? Because
Task.
if there are new ways of doing things, then the old ways
Yeah.
become obsolete. And so if
And if the
you are in
technology
a
can do the
job,
job for you, why are we hiring you for, right?
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And so how can you scale up so that you become better
Mm.
and your value add is greater than that which the technology provides? And so
And
that's
that's why my
important.
favorite story and my favorite story about this is Babe the Pig. Remember my favorite story about Babe the Pig? If
Okay.
you those of us in those of us who still remember in the 90s, there's a movie called Babe the Pig, and Babe was supposed to be bacon. Okay, but she realized that if she was just a pig, she's going to be bacon, and that's not a good outcome for her. So she skilled
She
up, and
became a
she ended up being
ship.
a sheep pig. She took over the sheepdog's role, and suddenly the farmer looked
And
at
they
her and
made a
said,
lot. The farmer made more money from proving her
"Yeah,
skill,
yeah,
and showing her that, yeah, right. So
yeah,
yeah,
right." So if you want to stay a pig, you end up being bacon. But however, if you upgrade it, and then yes, it's all about value creation. That's why a lot of our clients, we talk. See, the difference between us and a lot of other so-called career coaches is that we're not talking about job search. Okay, we're talking about how do you enhance your value creation to your employer, and as a result, improve your career situation and your career strategy. So, these are the three things you need to look out for when it comes to understanding threats, retrenchments, the technology that's moving so fast. And the thing about technology is not just about technology that's moving fast. When technology changes and moves fast, consumer behavior changes as well. Like right now, the
oh
average
yes,
attention span of the person, because of all these TikToks and everything, have come down. So therefore, if you want to start posting videos and
content creations. Yeah,
content creation and everything, you got to cater to that short attention span group, because that's unfortunately the way the humankind is evolving or devolving to.
absolutely.
So you have to, but besides looking at threats now, which is quite doom and gloom, there are also opportunities down the road. For instance, promotions.
Yeah. And so if you are gunning for promotion, there are so many things that you can do to gain visibility, to be noticed. We cover all of that in our career mastery program, which helps our clients to accelerate their careers. So yes, the career agility means that you have now the ability to spot those opportunities that would help leverage your promotional prospects, right? So you want to look for those things, and you know when to put your hand up and when to hunker down, because some projects you don't want to do, poison
True,
chalice type projects, right? So
true, true.
yes, again, agility, the agility that you develop, is not just to avoid the doom and gloom, but to make a pot of gold.
Mm. And sometimes that there are opportunities which, if you don't have if you're not in the mindset or the frame of mind, you might miss entirely. So being career agile means that your radar is up, your sensors up, and you're looking at like, ding, 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 where do I go? Oh wow, no, that division is expanding. How do I navigate into that particular division, which is higher growth than my division, where I just received news that my products in my division are being sunset, grandfathered, or whatever, obsolete, or being shut down totally. Those fancy words. So you have to look for, well, promotions that you can leverage yourself into. Okay, and the other thing is, also, if you're looking out niches, how do you become more
Specializations.
specialized in the particular spot? You see, so
I'm just
uh,
saying that I don't like the word niche because it sounds limiting. It sounds
yeah,
dark,
yeah,
limited. But yes, you want to look for opportunities to specialize as well, because when you specialize, then your premium, you have more value because of your level of subject matter expertise. So look for those as well.
That's true. And for all you if you study and analyze your career history well enough, like what we do with our clients at the very first session, if you study, you can actually draw out a golden thread. Okay, and we can help you draw a golden thread that can actually help you to define your niche and what you're really specialized in, and what your years and years of experience have brought you to become what you are today, that you can do for your future clients. But it's not easy to identify your own niche, because sometimes you need a third party sitting in next to you and pointing out like, hey, this is how you do it. It's like two players in a chess game. Sometimes they're just playing the chess game, but the third party observer out there is like, hey, can checkmate in 3 moves, but they'll still
Mm.
fumble on because they're in the middle of the game. So that's why when it comes to our career partner programs, we actually play that role of the dispassionate third party who's neutral with no hidden agenda.
Objective.
Objective.
Objective third party dispassion.
Objective third party. No, what do I
Objective
say?
third party, definitely. And I
Yeah.
think the biggest thing with our clients, we help them with their vocabulary. And a lot of them kind of know what it is, but they are unable to articulate it or unable to translate that statement to a value proposition. And so, yes, that's something that we've been very, very good at in helping our clients.
Yes, I just checked out the dictionary definition of dispassionate, which is not influenced by strong emotion and also able to be rational and impartial. So yes, dispassionate. That's what we are. No, not dispassionate doesn't mean not passionate
Okay,
about stuff. It's passionate. So okay, word for the day, dispassionate.
word
So
for
that's
the
what we do.
day.
You know, we're neutral
Objective,
and
so much
objective.
easier. Gosh,
No, but this sounds so much
right? It's
nicer.
it's
So,
three syllables versus your five or four.
for okay, oh, it's
Anyway, we're
Friday
still
morning. So
arguing. Okay, let's move on.
well, and of course, no, there might be pivots. You know, if
Yes,
your area is being obsolete, then what can you pivot into?
that's right. And I think one of our comments in the comment section, one of our listeners is asking, is career agility equals changing industry? So this is the point that you're trying to make. If you do have an agile mindset, if you and then you develop an interest in a different industry, your pivoting is a lot easier as well. Not to
It
say
could
it's
be,
not to say it's going to be so easy. It never is.
yeah.
I just want to again be mindful because sometimes we sound so we make it sound so easy. It actually isn't. There's a lot of hard work involved.
Yeah.
But yes, to your point.
You see, it's also a function of situational variables. Okay,
Mm,
when I was 30 and I pivoted into headhunting, it was a lot easier because heck, you were 30, right? You were given a lot more chances, but when I was pivoting from headhunting into career agility advisory and career strategy coaching, that move took me 6 years because from
mm,
2012 when I first decided that hey, I want to get into this space, it took me 6 years before I started career agility full swing. So it takes time, but if you are determined and if you make the right decisions based on the right information and for the right reasons, career pivots are very powerful, and I think you should consider at least one or two in your career.
yeah. So a personal story is my pivots have not been traumatic. Because I think the pivot point has always been that one thing, and that's never changed. So even if the industries or the people that I work with have differed, the nature of my job may have changed, but the ultimate skill has always
Mhm.
remained the same.
Yeah,
And
that's your core, right?
so yeah, I mean, if you have
Yeah.
a solid core skill or specialization, it makes each movement less traumatic.
That's true, and it's why you need to be career agile, like Yen, okay, and myself right now. You know, we basically look at where the opportunities are, and we pivot and we move ourselves into where the sun shines. Okay, so that's what we look at. But how can one be career agile? And I think these are three very important things you need to know. Number one is just being aware of being career agile. I think it's a major mindset shift in itself, really, isn't it?
Yeah. So I like to say awareness is half the battle. Because
Yes.
if you don't know what you don't know, then you're not moving. But if you know what you don't know, you can do something about it. And then maybe you want to engage a physical
Mhm.
trainer or a coach or someone to kind of keep you accountable for your
Yeah.
activities. And I think that's half the battle, the awareness. Absolutely.
Hmm.
And also, like you said, right, the awareness and the readiness, I think they go hand in hand. You
Oh
have to be ready
yes.
to receive. You have to be ready to receive the advice because good advice is wasted on deaf ears, isn't it? If someone's not
Yes.
ready to make that change, even if they know, we get a lot of these objections, don't we? Oh, but I don't like this. I don't want. And then, well, if you don't want to, then you're not going to get the outcomes you want.
Yeah. True, right? And
So
worse
you
still,
can
no,
bring
like
the
what?
horse to the water, you cannot force the horse to drink. So
Yeah.
there you go.
And and worse still is that when an opportunity really comes by and you're not ready for it, and then you miss it, and then it's like, what? you know. So it's like what the story I always the old story which I always tell about one of the guys I know, who not 12 years back
Went
he
for a
was
networking coffee
went for
session.
networking, had a lunch with this guy who was starting up an online stuff, and he just said, "Oh, nice idea, thanks a lot, no, oh, thanks for sharing," and he walked away. And the company has just gone IPO, so it's
He didn't
basically it was a job
realize,
he
yeah,
could do
that's
if
the
he missed.
same. Yeah, he
No, he
didn't
didn't
realize that
realize.
he was being evaluated and they
Yeah,
were sussing him out on his level of
yeah,
interest. I
and he
remember
wasn't
that, yes.
interested. He wasn't interested. So basically,
I
he
think he
walked away.
didn't know. He
He
didn't
wasn't
know
aware. You see,
that
that's why he wasn't
he
aware
wasn't
about it.
aware. That's
Yeah,
right.
it was sitting staring him in the face, and this was like employee. He would have been employee number 4 or 5. So yeah, that's it.
But
So
again, to people like that, right? Sometimes we need someone to be a little bit more direct. Can you just, if you really have an opportunity for me, just please tell me
tell
about
me,
it.
tell
Don't
me, tell
don't
me.
beat the bush, right? Don't beat the bush and don't speak in tongues. I so
Speaking
it's a
tongue. Okay, but anyway, you see, that's the funny thing because there were a lot of people. Okay, when even as career agility, when we talk to people in our daily uh, uh, activities, and we see that they are very suitable for joining us, and we are quietly assessing them. And if they are, but if they were ready and they showed us what value they can bring, we'll hire them on the spot, right? But sometimes it's not about us coming to them with an offer. Sometimes they could have come to us and say, "Hey, can I do this for you?" So that's why it's always important to be ready and you need to learn how to play the game because this is a game. It's a long game.
life is a game.
Yeah, and if you don't want to play the game, oftentimes you get left
The
behind. You
game
see,
will play
and
you. Or the game
yeah,
will
the
play
game will play you.
you.
The game will play
And
you,
then
and
it'll
you're gonna
spit you
see even
out.
no, and that's true. You see, and that's why sometimes we get clients sitting down and telling us, "Hey, why are we? Why is it I see some people are so lucky? They get promoted, they get the careers accelerate because they know how to play the game." And the
Yeah.
moment you know how to play the game, okay, you need to be able to leverage all the opportunities, to be read the signs, get ahead of the action, create the opportunities. So you need to learn how to play the game. Otherwise, you'll
And
be left
then of course
behind.
we hear people telling us that they're not gamers or they don't like playing the game and they like to think about how when we talk about the corporate games, the schmoozing or the political dynamics, and they're like, no, I'm not interested. It's really not just about that. It's not just about that. It's
It's
about
not. It's not.
understanding it. It's
The
about
rules.
managing it.
Yeah.
Well, yes and no, right? Because you are
And
also within your own rights to find your own
mm,
team, to build
mm,
your own
yeah.
alliances, to make a difference.
Yeah.
So I like to think about it as a game only because I don't want people to think about it in such a serious way, right?
I mean, it's not okay. Okay.
It's
Okay. Let's put it this
it's
way
not
here.
life
Okay.
and
I know
death,
it's like,
right?
okay. It's a game, but we're not talking about Game of Thrones. Okay. So we're
No,
talking
no,
about
no,
okay, not Game of Thrones,
no.
not the
When you play
Cersei
the Game
Lannister
of
kind of
Thrones, you die.
you die. You win or you
Even
die.
if you
Okay,
win, you
so
die.
the whole castle comes crumbling on top of you. Oh no, spoiler alert. So it's there. Okay. But I like to use the game analogy as well because when you're playing poker, you're not playing the cards. You're basically playing the other
Yes.
players.
The other
Okay, you're
players,
reading, you're
yes.
playing, you're responding. You're not playing the cards. You're not playing the deck. You're playing the other player. So you need to know the rules. You need to know how to read these people as well. And that's why what we always recommend is that if you want to know the rules, come talk to us. If you want career clarity as to where you're heading, if you know whether or not you're in a job search mode or in what we call a pre-job search mode, because you're not so certain as to
Mm.
whether or not the retrenchment exercise is going to affect you, or even if it hasn't affected you, it might affect you in the second, third, fourth round. Okay. So if you are looking out, if you've been trying to uh, uh, look for jobs, but you're not getting traction. Okay, it's not because you're old. Sometimes people say, "Hey, you can't don't hire me because I'm too old." It's not because you're too
Something else.
expensive.
It
Okay,
might
it
be
could be
many
because you're
other
too
variables.
expensive. There's so many variables,
Yeah.
right? How long is a piece of string, right? It's like so many variables involved. So our recommendation is, come talk to us. Even if you want to get promoted, if you're very secure in your role and you want to get promoted,
Mm.
or you want to pivot, or you want to reinvent yourself, come talk to us. And one of the
Oh,
things we're
you've lost
running
your
now.
mojo.
Oh, you've
If you
lost the
have lost your
mojo. Yeah.
mojo, you need a little bit of inspiration. Come talk to us as
Mm,
well because it's probably an indication of a crisis up ahead, down the
yeah.
road. There are, yeah. I mean, again, we see all sorts of career questions and career issues. Come talk
Yeah.
to us.
In fact, one of the very popular programs that we have, we were launching in March, the fourth intake, in fact, okay,
Yep.
it's what we call the career mastery program. If you're interested in topics like this, no, the dirty truth about how you people and senior management think about promotions, okay, who to promote, how do they promote. Once you understand how the game is played, you're gonna get understand how to be more effective in getting your promotion, and how do you project your sphere of influence at work? How do you manage terrible bosses? Salary negotiations. That's one of the biggest thing, which biggest value add sessions, which we teach you how to actually negotiate for your current salary to be up. Okay, how to raise it, and it's all about not just boss. I want more money, right? You can get step,
Mm.
but it's the psychology to it, the strategy behind it.
Absolutely. So we've had many clients come through this program. We've received lots of good feedback. This
Hmm.
year we have enhanced and updated the content. It's a lot more. I think two more sessions or something. It's a few more,
Oh
right?
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
bit
It's
longer.
an updated one.
Um, yeah, so it's updated because world keeps changing. We need to keep up
Mhm.
with it. So do
Yeah,
reach out to us if you would like to know more about this program. This
yeah. So it's
program
a
is
series of
intended. This program is just really intended for accelerators.
yes, correct. It's a very and it's not very time consuming either because it's just evening workshops in a fun environment over Zoom
But you
with
then you
a
put
bunch of
that
your colleagues.
intensive.
Intensive. We're
Who
gonna
used the
put
word
them in a mindset.
intensive?
Intensive. Okay, we're gonna whip you.
It is intensive in the sense that it causes you to think. It's going to
Mhm,
change, and again, the reason why it's 6 months long, not because you have to meet every night, but because it takes time for you to build strong, I guess, scaffolding,
mhm.
strong boundaries,
Structures.
strong
Yeah,
mindsets, filters.
yeah.
The mindset change does not happen overnight.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
And no, the moment you join our career mastery program as an alumni, okay, once you graduate from it, uh, as and when we get our new speakers coming in, the new guests to come and share new information, they're always welcome back. So our alumni is just growing stronger, and a lot of very senior folks in our alumni as well. So if you are interested in progressing your career, come talk to us. Our career mastery program is ongoing, and just reach out to us, info@careeragility.org, and we are here to help and assist. So, you know, in the coming months ahead, it's going to be tricky. It's going to be tumultuous, and I would say, if you are not careful, you might just get blindsided. And I hope you won't,
Mm.
but you never
Yeah.
know.
Being blindsided is the worst thing, isn't it? You feel so betrayed. Something was done to you. It's not fun. So we'll help you avoid that. That's
Yeah,
important. Then you can be strong.
it is. Yes, and having two career, not just one but two career gurus sitting down and guiding you along the way. Hey man, I would have paid top dollar for it when I was younger. In fact, right now,
Maybe we'll bicker along the way.
yeah, well, but no, it's fun, and we have hundreds and hundreds of clients who have come through us, and it's been an amazing journey. So, in summary, and before we close off today's session, if you're feeling a bit nervous, if you're in the tech sector especially, come
Mm,
talk to us. Okay, come talk to us because we've been there, we've done that, we've seen a lot of
mm.
situations. Sometimes you just need someone to provide a context to box up what's happening so that you can carry on with your life rather than worry about things you can't control.
Yes. That's a good point. It's really not about just over focusing on a career. It's really about the things that do matter: your health, your family, your other interests and hobbies. So yeah,
Mm.
career. Well, just let us help you with that. Then you can go spend more time on the important things.
Yeah, and what we always say again, once again, is if you have any questions, reach out to us, and always happy to respond to your mails and your contacts, and just ask any career question you want. And of course, if you have any other career ideas or career topic ideas for next week's or subsequent show, titles, drop us a note. We'll be happy to share with you. You know, as long as it's interesting,
Mm.
we're gonna tell you all the good, the bad, and the ugly about it.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Have a great weekend, guys. And once again, it's always been a pleasure reaching out to you. And enjoy yourself. And do please click like and please share this channel with your friends. Okay, have a great one. And by the way, we are also on Spotify right now. So if you want to see all our 38 episodes that we created in 2022, jump over to Spotify and listen to it. Listen to us while we run, while you do your run, your cycle, or when you do your shopping. Listen to us, and the nice thing about it is you can play at 1.5 speed, so the session is ends sooner than, than the live chat over here. But
You can hear us sound like chipmunks.
well, okay, anyway, no worries. Have a
Okay,
great weekend, guys.
okay,
Take care,
done.
everyone.
Take
Okay,
care.
bye.